Nigel Farage has called the suspended Reform MP's behaviour disgusting in private texts. I'm going to read into this more from the Independent, you guys. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Reganelite here with an article from the Independent with the headline that Farage calls the suspended Reform MP's behaviour disgusting in private text. So the row comes as Techne's latest weekly tracker poll has shown that the Tories level pegging with Reform for the first time in 2 months amid claims that Farage's party is imploding. Now, guys, while you're here, make sure to hit that like button, share it across social media so others are notified of this video. Now, I'm not going to imply I don't think Reform is imploding. I do think that this is, without a shadow of a doubt, a setback. I know, excuse me, many people are trying to blow this up a lot more than it should be. I'm really trying to blow this out of proportion because of how many people feel about Reform UK, and I'm one of them because I don't think Reform UK serve in any way, shape, or form the best interests of the British public. However, some people believe otherwise. That's your interpretation of believing so, and that's fine. I strongly disagree, and we agree to agree on that. Hopefully, you are respectful in that in the comments. Otherwise, your comment will be removed if you decide to throw insults at me for not being a fan of Reform UK. But this whole scenario, it all started because Rupert Lowe chose to attack Nigel Farage as a fellow MP of Reform UK in the Daily Mail. He chose to criticise Nigel Farage. Now, whether or not you agree or disagree with Rupert Lowe, he thinks that the party's not going in the right direction. He thinks that Nigel Farage is not taking Reform forward. And at the moment, for many, there's been since the last general election till as we're coming up to these local elections on the 1st of May as well, Reform have not really had a grassroots campaign really going. Most of the councillors that they have won, technically they haven't won. A lot of them were defections. Very, very, very tiny council election victories they have had. The majority of them have simply been a case of defections from the Conservatives or from Labour, and even one or two from Lib Dems. And that's all well and good, but they haven't really built up a grassroots scenario too much. Now, that is something that Nigel Farage actually did an interview, I believe it was with ITV not too long ago, saying that they are trying to build up a grassroots campaign. And the local elections will speak volumes about how far this Reform is getting into the minds of the British public. Because polls say one thing, but it's what actual people voting say. And these local elections will say a lot about Reform. Because, yes, they did well at the last general election. But they weren't able to turn enough of those votes into MPs. Because while they did get, I think, pretty sure it was the third highest amount of third most votes out of the behind the Conservatives, behind Labour and the Tories, but they only got 5 MPs, now 4, obviously because of Rupert Lowe gone. Are they able to turn that and harness that into actually getting results and doing that at a local level? That is the question. And this whole scenario, this fiasco, has been nothing short of being a real distraction for Reform UK, and it's been unhelpful for them in doing so as well. I don't know whether or not how serious the allegations are against Rupert Lowe and whatnot. I would not be surprised if they're true as well. But I don't think there is still time between now and the local elections for Reform to recover from this. I think if this was in mid to late April, before the local elections, then I could see it really damaging their voter base at the local elections. But there is still more than a month before then. There is plenty of time for them to recover from this, in my opinion. And remember, they have a lot of social media on their side. They've got a lot of papers supporting them on their side. They have GB News on their side. They are going to be. They're not going to. Eventually, this will all get brushed under the carpet, and Rupert Lowe will kick and scream all he wants on Twitter about his part in all this. But there will be, in my opinion, what's happened with all this for me, shouldn't if they do terrible at the local elections, what's happening now should not be an excuse for reform, because they would have more than enough time to move on from it. So let's read a bit more into this. So suspended Reform UK MP Rupert Lowe has said Nigel Farage must never become Prime Minister after the party leader allegedly called his behaviour disgusting and contemptible in leaked private messages. So Mr Farage has accused Mr Lowe of damaging the party just before the elections in a WhatsApp conversation with a member of Great Yarmouth MP staff, the BBC have reported. It comes as new polling suggests that the fallout from the Great Yarmouth MP's ousting is now hurting Reform UK. This week's Techne UK tracker poll reveals that the Tories are level with Reform on 23% each for the first time in 2 months. It is one poll. Don't take it seriously. Take it with a pinch of salt. I always say this about polls. You can choose to believe it or not, but it can give an indication of what is and isn't happening. Doesn't always mean it's definite. The message was sent after Mr Lowe, who was suspended from the party amid allegations he made threats of violence to its chairman, Zaina Youssef, had criticised Mr Farage in a Daily Mail interview, according to the broadcaster. In his latest attacks on Reform, Mr Lowe said that these messages unquestionably prove that Reform's leadership has zero integrity. He added, "I will not work with the rotten and deceitful Reform leadership. Nigel Farage must never be Prime Minister." The staff member who is not currently a party member had asked Mr Farage why Reform had not allowed a lawyer to complete an investigation into allegations about the MP's conduct before removing the whip. It's a good question. Mr Farage said because he is damaging the party just before elections. Disgusting. When it was suggested the investigation was a response to his criticism of the leadership, the party leader and Claxton MP replied, "We are definitely damaging and within 2 weeks of nominations, awful," he says. In another message, he said the Great Yarmouth MP was contemptible and elsewhere described the Mail's interview in which Mr Lowe called Reform a protest party led by the Messiah a side issue. Reform's former deputy leader Ben Habib claimed the party is imploding under Nigel Farage's leadership, and obviously Ben Habib has his gripes with Reform UK, obviously because he as well, so he's obviously looking to take pot shots at them. I can still see Nigel Farage getting out of all of this, even as bad as things may seem to him. So Habib said the polls may not be registering this, but the party is imploding under Nigel Farage and Chairman Zaina Youssef. I wouldn't go as far to say it's imploding. It's not looking good right now for them, is what I will say. With Mr Farage in the US this week, the row has left behind the UK is beginning to hurt them in the polls. According to Techne UK's weekly tracker poll for the Independent, Reform is down 1 point from the second week in a row, while the Tories are up 1 for the second week running, meaning that the two parties are level pegging for the first time since January 24, and a boost for the beleaguered Tory leader Kemi Badenoch. I will also say Kemi Badenoch was pretty okay at last Prime Minister's questions. It's the first time I actually thought she did okay, all things considered as well. Importantly for the Tories, they have closed the gap with Reform among voters at age 45, while Labour enjoys a 4-point lead over both on 27%. The Lib Dems remain on 14% and the Greens 7%. Deputy Chief Executive has said that recognising some of the recent internal turmoils of Reform UK, Nigel Farage's party dropped 1 point off the national vote share. By comparison, this week, Kemi Badenoch and the Conservatives announced their policy renewal programme. They climbed 1 point, drawing back level with Reform UK. Geopolitical problems, of course, dominate at this time, and Sir Keir Starmer's party enjoy still high visibly. Among the dark and light blue parties, however, it's still difficult to say how the situation will evolve in the coming weeks. Excuse me. There are more problems for Reform, which have seen a constituency chairs and other officers nationwide quit after Mr Lowe's suspension. There were some councillors obviously very angry as well about being left abandoned by Reform as well. So there is obviously some frustration within Reform on that. Don't worry about the cat if you hear a cat meowing. This includes activists in the Isle of Wight constituency who resign as branch officers in protest on Thursday. In a message on X, the outgoing Isle of Wight chair Sarah Morris said, "One of the fundamental reasons I got involved in the first place was to take back control of our lives from politicians and our elected bureaucrats, letting the majority decide, not the minority. And I've stayed loyal for too long. I should have seen the signs." She said, "I feel like Reform has been stolen from me by Nigel and Zaina. The Reform movement is ours. It's not theirs to sell off and play with us as they want." Well, I'm sorry, Sarah, but you may not realise this, but Reform aren't actually a political party. They're a company. And Nigel Farage actually still holds the majority of shares in the company. Yeah, sorry to tell you that. I also feel the vetting process is neither effective nor transparent. Who is really deciding who is expectable and who isn't, and using what criteria? At level branch, we are volunteering our precious time and utilising the extremely kind financial donations from supporters. Yezo stands there and takes all the credit for the branch formations while setting aside the people who actually did all the work. Reform have declined to comment about the text. They may respond by the time you guys see this video. Yeah, it's like, I don't think it's a case of this is the end of Reform UK, this is their doom and gloom sort of thing. I see this as a setback. I do see this as a setback. It may hurt them at the local elections. I don't think it will. I think they will recover in time for local elections. But whatever the results will be, I do not think it would be based on this, in my opinion. Some people will fundamentally disagree. I don't think it will. But those at the grassroots levels that have been working on grassroots levels, they obviously feel they're not having much of a say in the party. But obviously these private texts and conversations are not helpful, that is for sure. Nigel Farage does not want to be criticised by anyone within Reform UK, and it's certainly not helping himself, that is for sure, this whole situation. But what do you guys honestly think? Do you think Rupert Lowe has a point with all his critiques? Or was he right to be ousted? Was he right to be ousted after what he said about Nigel Farage? Do you think, Reform UK will recover from this in time for the local elections? Maybe some of you might think that Reform will get damaged at the local elections. Let me know your thoughts and more on this down in the comment section below. If you found this video informative or helpful in any way to you, hit that like button, share across social media, subscribe if you haven't to already. And if you want to, hit that join button down below to join the YouTube membership for us. It's always 99p. You can also check out the Rumble and Patreon pages as well for exclusive content on those platforms. So thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.